A7RIII guy here, and I want to answer a question that a lot of people are asking, including myself, and that's should I buy an A7 III, which a lot of people may refer to as just a base model Sony Alpha camera, or should I buy the A7R III, which is the ultra high resolution current model Sony Alpha camera. So there's a few things that one must consider. Now with me, I primarily do video. So although I appreciate a high quality thumbnail and I do shoot some stills, the bulk of what I do is 4K video. Now we're going to jump right in and I'm going to read some specs here and explain this in plain English, and check the link within this video's description because you can find both of the cameras, the A7 III and also the A7R III, within this video's description. So looking at the A7 III, which a lot of people, again, they may refer to as a base model, but is it really a base model? So the first thing you're going to notice, if you look at the max resolution, the A7 III has 24 megapixel, and that's 6,000 by 4,000. Jumping over to the A7R III, the resolution on it, now it is a 42.4 megapixel, max resolution of 7952 by 5304. So although there is a difference, is it really that huge of a difference? Now keep in mind, for stills photographers, that extra resolution may be good. If you want to crop within post, maybe there's something that was pretty small within your photo, you want to make it bigger within post-production, having that extra resolution will come into play there. But by no means is the lesser resolution of the A7 III a deal breaker. Now, again, I'm conducting this side-by-side comparison without taking camera cost into the analysis. So you can check the link within this video's description to find the cost of each camera. I'm not even going to mention that within this comparison because I don't want to skew anybody's opinions. So jumping back to A7 III, obviously it does 4K 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second. So I mean, that's you can record video clip lengths up to 29 minutes. And looking at the A7R III, that's the same thing as far as video specs are concerned. Now I'm going to use this camera primarily for 4K video, just like I am the A7R II that I'm filming this particular face-on video segment with. So here's where it gets different. When you look at the specs of both cameras, and you look at, I'm scrolling down here within the specs. There's a very important, one thing worth mentioning, the EVF, the display on the A7R III is going to look better than the A7 III. So if that's of concern, be aware of that. But as far as autofocus points, here's where it really gets interesting. So with the A7 III, it has 693 phase detection points. It has 425 contrast detection points. So that's the A7 III. Now jumping over to the A7R III, it only has 399 phase detection points, and it only has 425 contrast detection points. So what does that mean? Well, that right there is what has pushed me personally. Now again, I'm primarily a video guy, but that is what has pushed me personally to go with the A7 III instead of the A7R III. Now both of these new cameras, they have battery life that is greatly superior to the A7R II. So from a battery life perspective, I'm getting a performance increase, but the big performance increase for me is the autofocus. Because no matter how hard I tried with the A7R II, I found that the only way to get rock solid, just awesome looking 4K video with the A7R II was to use manual focus. And manual focus is fine, but in a lot of situations where you may not have a film crew with you, and you may be going closer and further away from the camera, not having autofocus can pose to be problematic. And when I used autofocus with the A7R II, often it was quite wonky, especially at when I was shooting wide open. It was quite wonky if I was using autofocus, meaning that, and this probably isn't a technical term, but if you're in the industry, you've probably heard of it, focus breathing, where if I moved forward or if I moved backwards, you would see, due to the autofocus, you would see the image kind of breathe. It wasn't visually pleasing. Now, obviously, if I was using manual focus, I was able to eliminate the focus breathing, but the problem with manual focus, especially when I'm shooting wide open, is that if I get closer to that camera, I get out of peak focus. And if I get further away from that camera, I get out of peak focus. So I found that I was shooting primarily, when I was using an autofocus mode, I was shooting in an aperture like f5.6 or so, which, if I'm using my 85mm Zeiss, and I would prefer to shoot with f1.8, using that for autofocus with the A7R II just didn't look that good. I'd rather bump up to a greater aperture and not have as well of a defocused background, but by doing so, I was at least able to use autofocus, and that wonkiness, that focus breathing wasn't as apparent. So for that reason, I'm preferencing A7 III over the A7R III. And again, check the link within this video's description because you can find both camera bodies, but you'll find that one of them is probably significantly more expensive than the other. So I hope this video helps. Again, I am a video shooter, primarily a video shooter, and I'm obsessed with 4K video. So that is what has steered me to the A7 III. Again, if you're primarily a still shooter, you want to have that extra large image to play with within post, you want to have a better EVF, then you may want to consider the A7R III. So I hope this video is of value. Again, check the link within this video's description. You can find both camera bodies, accessories, and a whole lot more. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/irixguy. Thumbs up to like it, share, and most importantly, follow me throughout all social media. You can go to irixguy.com and you can find all my social media links there. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, irixguy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.